So, you may be a little surprised to see such a short video popping up out of the blue, but I wanted to cover something that I might have sorted out but was too long for a short. I've talked a lot about Secret of the Mimic since it's come out, and of the Murray family themselves, and the story and the themes, and importantly, how it plays into later games. And one of those aspects involves dates, physical dates, which are always valuable when talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. There's been a lot of speculation on when Fiona Murray and David Murray died. I've speculated about it a lot as well, and I think I actually might have stumbled upon the answer, and I think my other guesses were off. Most of the time I just said sometime before 1979, and technically that's still correct, but it involves this chart of Murray's costume manners net earnings and this slip of paper that I recently rediscovered and realized something fascinating about. Now, since this is a short video, I'll spare you the typical Secret of the Mimic backstory. Edwin had a factory, wife died, son died, made mimics, scanned by Afton, whole thing collapsed. We'll get to the nitty-gritty. When did Fiona and David die? And let's look at the chart. Murray's had a steady income until 1970 when it popped up for a couple of years before suddenly dipping in late 1972. Then it skyrockets in 1973 before plummeting in 1974. What happened? Well, these early years would have been before Edwin took over the company. Remember, it was his father's vacuum cleaner company. It makes sense that it would be steady but meager sales. Then it bumps up. 70, 71, and 72 are likely when they switched to making more than vacuums, making costumes and appliances, and it was pretty successful. Then something happened at the tail end of 72 that caused a sudden plummet. This was likely Fiona's death. It would even be right around fall and Fall Fest, which is where she died. And it would assumedly be right before David's birthday. Then there's suddenly a huge uptick. This is probably when MCM started working with Fazbear Entertainment and got the Fredbear's Family Diner contract, or at least got the big one to build their next restaurant, which brought in a huge amount of prosperity. Then there comes the decline in 74. At first it's just marginal, just ebb and flow, before starting a rapid freefall. That was likely when David died. And lining up the tapes, it would make sense. It was his 3rd birthday when Fiona died, and then 2 years later on his 5th birthday, that's when he died. And this would also be backed up by this paper. To the administration department from the workshop Bleeds. Subject, bring your child to work day. To whom it may concern. While we understand the morale benefits of bring your child to work day, it is the collective opinion of the workshop staff that having children running around the workshop space is simply too much of a safety risk. Specifically, we fear that another accident could put us further behind schedule, which may mean losing some of our best clients due to repeated tardiness. Please consider canceling Bring Your Child to Work Day going forward. And if you take a look at the date, it says April 23rd, 1974. The accident that they're likely referring to, the only accident that we've heard of, the accident that has been mentioned repeatedly and was forewarned by Edwin Murray's lawyer, was the accident of David Murray, where he ran off of his playground and was assumedly hit by a car or truck. And notice again, this message was not written by the administration staff. If it was someone in the admin staff, they might have been a little more, maybe hesitant to bring it up. This also alludes to the fact that after David's death, Edwin started to suffer at work. There was a lot of trouble getting work done, especially on the Fazbear project, which was over budget and behind schedule. Both of which are alluded to in this message. Put us further behind schedule, they're already behind schedule, and losing their best client. So, it seems to line up pretty well. Is this the concrete truth? Who knows, but it does at least match the timeline of some of the events. Now, there's only one problem with this timeline. So, David's 3rd birthday is stated to have happened after Fiona died, while the accident, which happened on David's 5th birthday, would have had to have happened, as per the memo, before April. Which isn't possible. Which means one of two things. Well, actually, it means one of three things. One, the slip date is just a mistake and was supposed to be either in 1975 or later than April of this year. Two, the third-year birthday tape was a little bit inaccurate. As in, technically Fiona would have died after David's birthday, but it's still showing it to us like this just to get the point across. Or three, Fiona actually died in 71, and the resulting plummet didn't happen until the second half of the next year. Frankly, I think with the lineup, it makes more sense that maybe the dates are just a little off, because having the company plummet right after Fiona died would make sense since she does so much of the heavy lifting, but also a delayed decline would have also made sense, as Edwin probably could have held out a while before the collapse. But one of the bigger things I'm reconsidering is Edwin's relationship with Henry and William. Their friendship and partnership. All this time I thought they knew each other and were working on this project probably for years before Fiona died. And you know what? Maybe they did. But I'm pretty sure that Fredbear project started after Fiona's death. Meaning either these two befriended him after her death at a time when he'd be looking for companionship, or William was already his friend and approached him with the contract deal after Fiona died, when he would be more vulnerable, during a time when he probably wouldn't read the fine details. If that's the case, that's very in character for WA. Waiting until someone's at their lowest point and then sinking his claws into them. But who knows? This is just going off what we see in game, and even then there's still some conflicting facts in between these clues. It could be possible that this chart wasn't supposed to be read too far into and was just sort of like an outline of the dates, but wasn't supposed to be taken as a concrete confirmation. And it could also be that the date on that paper was wrong, or it could be that something else was changed around. Who knows? We probably won't know unless we get at some point a note that clearly states the exact date of when Fiona and David died. But for now, I would say that this could maybe be a pretty good guesstimate of the time period in which it happened. It doesn't really change anything going forward, except showing us that there was probably a couple of years of MCM being closed before Arnold arrived to look for the Mimic, and that kind of would make sense as well. But just a little detail I found and wanted to share with you. Anyway, thank you for watching. And that's where the video was supposed to end. But then something kind of dawned on me while editing the video. So I just wanted to throw this out there. I don't know if I'll make a video on it or just add it here, but I was going through the WA stuff and David's death and the contract, and it kind of occurred to me that this might actually be why William killed Charlie. So, see, if William was behind David's death, and I know that's a somewhat contentious take, but hear me out. If he was behind it, then look what happened. He kills David, Edwin collapses, and William takes all the rights to his goods. Him and Henry were business partners, but if Henry was to have the same decline as Edwin had, William would be able to claim all of the rights they shared, overtake the business, and cut Henry out. We don't know about their relationship, but we know that he's willing to rob Edwin blind, and if the Silver Eyes is anything to go on, William was not only fixated on Henry, but extremely jealous of him. And he also robbed him blind too. So, how to get rid of Henry? He kills his daughter. And how does he do that? Well, going off of the skid marks behind Fredbear's family diner, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say, perhaps, in the same way he got rid of David. But that's just a theory. Goodbye.